Hi, my name's Priyanka, I'm 16 and I enjoy acting, reading, writing and swimming.
I am 16 and my interests are drama, performing and acting.
I'm 26, I like reading and sports.
I'm 18 years old and I'm interested in such things as sports and shooting.
I'm 18 and I'm interested in athletics.
I will soon be 25, but I'm now 24. Cycling. I like my cycling at the moment. I'm running, so I'm running a lot. So a bit of exercise.
I say With a Woman in Black because I've seen the play and in theatre at the Fortune Theatre, and I've seen the film as well, and I thought that there was quite a connection to them both, and it was really, really spooky as well, and they done it really well as well.
My favourite thriller film is probably Psycho, and because I just think it's really interesting and really, I don't know, I think it's the first of its kind.
I don't usually watch thriller films because I don't like any film that is remotely scary. I watched The Bone Collector when I was a teenager and I really liked that though because I thought it was really clever.
My favourite thriller film would have to be Inception, mainly because it's more of an action-based thriller, so a lot of moving about and screaming and running.
Inception, probably because there's a lot of mystery in it. You don't really understand until the last second.
So I've had some thinking time, and I have decided that my favourite thriller film is The Ides of March, which is a political thriller. And, well, first of all, I like the actor, Ryan Gosling. I think he's awesome. George Clooney is also a really great character, and I think the main trend that you'll see in all of my answers is that I like films for characters rather than plot. And I think the characters in that film and the changes that you see in both of them as you go throughout, so you still have really liking them, and then by the end, more and more things happen to them, and that affects them in different ways. And it's really interesting to see how people deal with things in a political thriller, which was really great.
I think it's the atmosphere as well, like around you. I think that if there's a build-up of the music, the tension, and also the scenery, I think that all complements well together, so you're actually freaked out when you're actually watching the piece.
It's probably, I like suspense, but I also like the psychological aspect of being quite scared.
The suspense aspect and the sort of mystery that keeps you guessing all the way through.
It would have to be some sort of massive plot change, so as if like the good guy becomes bad guy, or something like that.
Probably most of the action, really. Explosions.
Within a thriller, as I said before, it's all about the characters for me. If it hasn't got deep characters, then I can't really relate to a film. And so I find it much better if the thriller is really focused upon the changes that occur within a particular person's character.
Climax, like obviously when there's the problem and like what's going to happen near the end, because that's when you're like at the edge of your seats, and I think that's probably the most interesting part.
Probably, I think it has to be interesting, and it has to be, I think music and sound is quite important as well.
Not too scary, nice psychological, clever elements to it without too much blood and ghosts or anything like that.
Original plot line, so not something that someone else has done before. And probably would have to have some sort of suspense music.
It's got to be action-packed. You know, there's got to be a lot of. It can't just be full of fighting scenes, but it's got to be. I don't know. It's got to vary really. There's got to be a mix of action and mystery and horror.
Okay, characteristics. You need to have a major shift, I think, in the character's outlook on life. I think you also need a major twist, and something at the end needs to occur that you perhaps weren't expecting, and that you've been expecting it to happen, but you didn't expect that particular thing to happen. So it's that build-up of suspense.
Alright, I said like The Woman in Black's my favourite film. I'll probably say right at the end, for the play and the film, is when the woman comes up right at the end and you actually see her actual face. I think that was probably one of the most spookiest parts.
Probably any part, like in, for example, The Silence of the Lambs, there's certain aspects they use music or they use sounds, and I think it's really interesting.
I think one of the scenes in The Bone Collector where they find somebody who's still alive and they manage to save her life because they got to her, they managed to work out the mystery before they got to her.
The fact that it's so mind-boggling that you don't have a clue what's coming next.
Yeah, probably in Inception when they start walking on the walls. Like that's so funny.
Okay, a specific thriller. I guess We mentioned Inception before, and I think the scene at the end when he gets a spinning top. Have you seen it? Okay. So the bit at the end when he gets a spinning top, and it just stays stable for ages. So you're not sure if he's still in the dream world or if actually he is in the real world in reality. And it just starts to wobble at the end, and then it cuts to the end credits. So that was very memorable. Kind of annoying. Memorable for the bad reasons, because I kind of felt like it was cliched and I didn't feel like it was very particularly well done. But it was memorable, but for bad reasons.
Definitely large plot twist because it's just it doesn't give it away. So it's like there's different terms, and I think that's probably what makes a thriller movie so different to all of the different other.
A large plot twist keeps it really interesting and just makes it more enjoyable.
Because I don't like films to be that scary. I think I like them to be predictable, and I know that the ending isn't going to be too traumatic. So I think I prefer that. Yeah.
Large plot twist, definitely. Large plot twists.
Probably large plot twists.
It's got to be a plot twist.
Probably yeah as well because it draws you in, so you know what's to come from the film.
I think I do because I think it has to match, but I don't want to know too much.
I don't particularly mind. I'm quite happy to see an abstract opening to a film. As long as there's some good music and you can see some abstract that gets you into the mood, that calms you down and gets you into the mood of the film. I don't think you need to see the characters in the opening.
I like seeing indication that it's thriller, so a little bit of gore or something at the beginning.
I don't really know about that actually. I'm not too sure on that.
I think I do, but not overly detailed. I like to make my own opinions on the characters as I go throughout the film. And I don't want things shoved down my face. I think the important thing when you go to watch a thriller or any film is that you come out with your own interpretation. Like reading a book, it's not about what the director wants you to think. By all means, you can look at his work and appreciate his work, but everyone should be able to come up with a different interpretation.
Probably yeah, largely seen as well.
I think they should be more discreet so they don't distract from the film.
Large, I think that's fine. Yeah, I think I've chosen to go and see that film, so I'm quite happy for a large title.
Definitely more discreet.
Largely same.
More discreet.
The music, definitely the music, because that's what the whole build-up's from. So yeah, and I think the music actually just ties the whole thing in as well, because it catches your attention as well from watching it on screen. So yeah, definitely creating the mood is probably the most important aspect of a thriller movie.
I think you should include a sound, definitely. Sound and music.
Something dark and twisted and psychological. Something that makes people think there's something really weird about your film. So something a little bit mental, if you can.
Probably the type of music you're going to include into it. So have a suspense sound that everyone will be able to relate back to that film.
It's got to have a mixture of everything, to be honest. So it's got to be, it's got to be like, it's attention seeking. It's got to be quite, it's got to come towards you. It's got to be attractive and appealing, but it's also got to like reach out to everybody, everybody that enjoys that kind of area.
Context, the setting, the time, place, a couple of the characters, what location you're in and what sphere you'll be working in, and maybe a couple of flashes to the troubles that they might face.